Hello, my friends. I'm Erica. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm so grateful and so honored to have you here. I like to start these Dharma talks with a little bit of breath. If you're newer to yoga or newer to any mindfulness practices, I really believe strongly that the breath, the time that we take in the beginning, especially of our yoga classes, is crucial, because in that time when we can really cultivate that strong relationship and connection to the breath, it really shows its rewards later in the practice, right? So when we can connect deeply to the breath before we open the body, I do believe that the deeper the breath is, the deeper that we can go in the asanas or the postures. So similarly here in these Dharma talks that I'm offering on this channel, I like to give a little bit of breath to start, to ground us together, because that way I think when we're able to tap into deeper access to that breath, we then can tap into a deeper access in our minds and really fully digest and take apart these dharmas however it resonates with you. So with that, I do want to just lead us in a little bit of breath first to root us down. And again, if you're newer to these mindfulness practices, whether just a seated meditation or starting your yoga practice in this seat sukhasana, if ever this is really uncomfortable, especially if your hips are tight, guys tend to have a little bit tighter hips than women, so you never have to take the seat. You can always prop yourself up on a block if you happen to have yoga blocks at home. If you don't, that's okay. You can just sit up on either one or several blankets, and that will just help, especially if the hips feel really tight. So I always want you to find that comfortable seat first before anything else, to take those distractions away before you can turn into that breath. So once you're settled in and once you find that comfortable seat, we'll close the eyes. And I always like to offer palms can face down on the thighs if that allows you to feel more rooted, or if that's what the body is really asking for today. If you know in this moment energetically you're ready to have those receptive palms, you can always face the palms up. So either way, and just feel the shoulders melt down the back. And with the lip seal, just take a few natural, easy, soft breaths. Check in where you are in this moment without that agenda, without any manipulation of the thoughts. And today we'll just work with a very natural breath, just in and out through the nose. But I invite you today to really let it be exaggerated, almost a little bit dramatic. So really, as you inhale, feel that deep swell of the belly, of the rib cage. And then that deep exhale, feel the bottom of that exhale completely as you empty out, and even feel the sits bones get heavier on the mat at the bottom of the exhalation. And just continue like that. Notice as you tap in to that conscious breath, notice what it's doing to the physical body, right? You might feel a softness take over the facial muscles. You might feel the shoulders melt deeper down the back. You might even feel, as you find that nice tall spine, an additional buoyancy or lift of the heart space, the sternum. And just let each breath be really full, luxurious, loving. And each exhale becomes, right, always this opportunity to release to soften. Inhale fully. And exhale completely. And as you stay with that breath, I'll invite everyone to notice, when I share this word in a moment, to notice the initial triggers, sensations, feelings, thoughts, and just to first take that time to sit with that initially. And the word that I'm sharing this week in my classes is a Sanskrit word called Svadhyaya, and that translates to self-study. And it's part of the philosophy aspect, the niyamas in this practice. So just taking a moment here to notice when you hear that word self-study, the initial thoughts that come to mind. What I am offering in my classes this week, I think I know myself personally. This past month in isolation has taught me endless lessons. And I think for all of us, right, has challenged us in so many ways. But I always try to find, I think, the eternal optimist in me, and I'm always trying to be super positive. I always try to find the lesson or the silver lining. So my intention for this video, as we breathe together this morning, is for us to maybe consider, right, all of the distractions that we had in our life before we were forced into this mandatory quarantine. Right, the distractions before that might have really gotten in the way of that self-study. I want to almost say distractions, but also things that were sort of addictions that, whether you use the word addiction or not, but things that can like anesthetize those feelings or suppress things that we maybe haven't processed, don't want to feel. And it could be something so subtle, or it could be something so, perhaps bigger, addictions or distractions like work and our routines, alcohol, drugs, shopping, sex, anything, food. Right, so a lot of those things right now might not be accessible. So they're sort of now removed from the equation. So what I'd like to throw out for food for thought today is that this idea, right, of this time when we're forced to sort of remove distractions or addictions. We have all of this time at home we're almost forced, right, to turn inward, to sit, to listen, to notice, to process, to digest. And I'll get quiet in a moment, and I just want to, again, have you here breathe really well. And start to consider all of the self-study, that Svadhyaya, that's taken place since we've all been at home. And the silver lining that you might already find or feel from this deep time of reflection or introspection. And then the second part of that is also noticing not just what's come up in that self-study, but also how this might change our course of action, how this might change the next chapter when we do go back to our normal lives. How this almost reset, I've been using the word reset a lot in my classes. I think, for many of us not being able to physically work, or for many of you that are in an office, that are working from home, right? All of the different dynamics here. Either way, there's been ample time to be with ourselves and to maybe feel this reset, and how that reset, these shift in dynamics, whether work or relationships, how all of this might contribute to, right, who we want to be as we take all of the tools, all of that self-study from this period. And how will that translate, or how will that inspire our lives after this? Maybe that breath here, as it gets deeper, starts to travel into other crevices in the body. Maybe crevices in the heart, in the mind that you haven't tapped into in a while. Maybe parts of you that you haven't wanted to reveal or feel. But maybe you can tap into the strength this morning of the collective, of yourself, as you give yourself permission to go to those places and really honor this ability and this gift, this time for that Svadhyaya. And just taking a few more breaths here. If you did go pretty deep with that breath, just starting to come back to the surface as you expand the breath a little bit more. And as you softly begin to open the eyes, and just bring the hands to heart center and take a moment to draw the chin towards the chest and just bow to yourself. Bow to yourself for carving this time out of your day for that self-care, for your mental and emotional health. And gently begin to lift the gaze and flutter open the eyes. Thank you so much, guys. I hope that was just a little bit of help to begin the day if you happen to catch this morning. But whenever you get to view this, just please know how much I am supporting you and missing you. And I hope you guys have a great day. All my love, guys.